love lives here.
All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. Yes, 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 indeed, that is what we are about. And to really simplify it even further, live your best life, which is the theme for our center here at Riverside CSL. The theme for the year is live your best life this year. And always, right? And we have been working with the theme, or we are in this, we're really winding down this theme of living into your vision. We have this week and next week, and then at the end of the month, we start our summer series already, which we're calling Living Above the Line. But right now, we are living into the vision. Living into the vision. So, I want you to think back to January. If you're with us in January, I want you to think back to January. And if you weren't with us in January, that's fine. You can just start right here where you are, right here today, all right? So think back to January and recall, if you will, the vision that came forth for you for this year, for 2023. Spirit's highest idea of itself expressing through your life this year. What is that highest vision? That high idea that is alive within you. It's alive within your heart space. It's alive within your body. It's alive within you. What is that high idea for this year, for living into your best life, for living into the vision? And as we've been working through the year, and especially in this series of Living into Your Vision, we've really been drilling down into what we are invited to embrace in order to come more fully into alignment with our vision, and what we are invited to release, to let go of, to surrender, in order to make space for the vision to become more fully realized. Because as we know, when we create space, right, then something must fill that space. So why not allow that space to be filled with love, with the vision, with the highest good possible for ourselves? Yes? Yes, yes, yes. So we've been spending a lot of time really diving down, really looking at some spiritual tools and practices of releasing those personas, getting into those hidden beliefs, getting into those hidden personas. We've looked at those disowned qualities, those bits and pieces that we have put off to the side, and we've talked about reintegrating our wholeness, both the pieces of ourselves that we don't really care for, and those wonderful pieces of ourselves that we've disowned, our hidden superpowers that we talked about last week, right? So, in thinking back to the vision and all the work that we've been doing, I want to bring this question of what if to us today. What if? But before we dive into the what if, let's lay a little bit more foundation, a little bit more groundwork, shall we? Yes. All right. I'm getting an enthusiastic yes, so I will proceed. If we're enthusiastic no, then let's just go have coffee. So, oh, wait. Oh, I should have answered the other way. Oh, darn. Okay, too late now. Here we go. I have the mic. Here we go. All right. So, if we're going to live into our vision, we can't really create a new reality unless we can imagine a different reality. Would you say that that's true? Kind of hard to create something new if you can't even begin to imagine it, begin to fathom it, right? So, remember how all of this works, right? So everything we create begins with thought, right? Everything that we create begins with thought. Thought then elicits feeling, right? Our thoughts then elicit our feelings. then our feelings inspire us to take action or not. But even not taking action is still taking an action because you're choosing not to take an action, so that's taking an action. So, right, feelings inspire actions or non-actions, and then our actions or non-actions, our actions then produce or determine the reality that we experience. So our thoughts inspire or elicit feeling. Our feelings then inspire action, and our action then determines our reality, our experience. Are we in agreement so far? We understand this so far, right? Okay. So as Ernest Holmes says, a conscious thought is more powerful than an unconscious one. Would you say that that's true? Except we also know that we have a tendency to live 90% of the time making choices and living on autopilot, taking action on autopilot, which means that we have begun taking action, or we continue to take action unconsciously. How many of you remember driving here this morning? Right? Like you left house and then you walked through the doors and like, huh. All right. Right? So unless something like out of the ordinary happened from home to here, it's possible you weren't aware of getting from home to here. So we're kind of living this unconscious life, or we're living a lot of our time unconscious on autopilot. And just going through as is, right? And so when we're doing that, our unconscious thoughts have a tendency to reflect the reality that we observe. Our unconscious thoughts, when we live unconsciously, right, then our thoughts tend to reflect the reality that we're already observing. And since we're already observing this reality, and these are our thoughts about it, again, what happens? Our thoughts elicit feelings, which then inspire action or non-action, which then create the reality. So if we're coming from this unconscious place, then we are then having these thoughts that we usually have and having these feelings that we usually have, and then we're taking the actions that we usually have or usually do, and then we're experiencing the same thing, what we already have, right? Same stuff, different day, right? So we have this opportunity then to shift our consciousness and to start bringing these ideas, bringing our awareness into conscious and begin making these conscious choices, right? So, if we look at reality from a new perspective, then what happens with our thoughts? Our thoughts begin changing because we're looking at something from a new perspective. And then what happens with our feelings? The feelings begin to shift as well, right? And then if the feelings begin to shift, then the actions or the potential actions also might be different. And if our actions are different, then what happens? Different reality. So, yes, thoughts and prayers do work up to a point, right? When we have the passion, when we have the feeling, when we have the faith, absolutely they work up to a point. But as we have heard time and time and time and time again, and as we've seen time and time and time and time again, thoughts and prayers are not enough. The action piece is critical. If we want to experience a new reality, not only do we have to have a different way of thinking, not only do we have to have a different perspective, and not only do we have to have a different feeling, we also have to be willing to step in and take action based on that new feeling. And then when we take action, then we can actually begin to see the world around us changing. A simple thought, a simple prayer, a simple, I'll send you good vibes, right? It's good up to the point, but it's the action piece that really kicks in. That's what really moves it over the finish line. So when we've been talking about this, as Nancy Levin calls it, the transformation equation, where change equals vision plus choice plus action. If you want something to change, if you want your life to change, if you want to live your best life, if you want to live into your vision, first you have to have the vision. First you have to have an idea of where you're going. So first you have to have an idea of what's actually possible and not limit yourself. Then you get to make choices. We get to choose how we're going to perceive the world. We get to choose how we are going to interact with the world. We get to choose our responses rather than coming from a place of reaction. We get to make choices along the way, and we make those choices based on our discernment, based on our internal wisdom, when we learn to trust the gut instinct, when we learn to trust the still small voice within, when we learn to trust that, then we can make decisions or we make choices based on that natural instinct, that natural inherent wisdom, and then we can take inspired action. Remember, I've been saying this all along. The choices and the actions you make and take, the choices you make and the actions you take, do one of two things. They either serve you moving into your vision, serve you moving into your living your best life, or they're sabotaging you living into your vision, or they're sabotaging you living into your best life. So when you come from this from a conscious place, from an awake, aware place, then you now have the ability, you now have the power, the empowerment to live your best life, rather than always being at the effect of the world. It's kind of like a thermometer and a thermostat, right? What does a thermometer do? A thermometer reflects what is. It's hot today, it's 95 degrees, the thermometer is reading 95. It's cold tonight, it's 42 degrees, the thermometer is reading 42, right? It's one, the thermometer is just reading whatever is, right? So if we're living our lives like a thermometer, we're only ever responding to what is. We're responding to the external, or not even responding, we're reacting, we're reflecting the external. Oh my gosh, life is so bad. The economy is so terrible. I can't stand the way those people act because it's just awful and cruel and terrible. Right? And then we just cycle downward. It's such a downer, right? And so we're just at the capricious whims of whatever's happening, feeling unempowered, feeling, like, oh, the winds could take me one way, the winds could take me another way. It's like, ugh, right? But when we're a thermostat, what do thermostats do? Thermostats control, or thermostats create, right? The environment. Thermostats create the temperature. So it's set at 70 degrees. It's set at nice and comfortable. If it goes too high, it cools it down. If it goes too low, it warms it up. And so we have the ability to create the environment. So a thermostat is a conscious choice, right? Where a thermometer is just a passive reflection of what's happening, of what's going on. Right? Would you rather be a thermostat or a thermometer? A thermostat, yeah. I mean, that's, So, back to this thing with choice, back to this thing with what if. Mindy Audlin is the author of What If Everything Goes Right? And she is also the creator of spirit groups, which we've been doing here for several years now, the creator and founder of spirit groups, which is a small spirit group, or small group program, right? And so she has this book, What If Everything Goes Right? And she presents the what if question in two ways. What if has the power to, depending on how we use it, how we choose to use it, so once again we're back at choice, how we choose to use it, it has the power to create or it has the power to destroy. So, what if either feeds inspiration or drives fear? So if you do the what if, and we have a tendency to do this because human beings, we have a negative bias in the brain. It's scientifically proven, but we have a tendency to what if and what she calls what if down. So we have a tendency to what if down. So, what if it doesn't go well? What if he doesn't like the gift I give him? What if the house falls down? What if she loses her job? What if he leaves me? What if? So, what are you feeling right now when I ask those what if questions? Down, right? It's like, right? It's kind of like circling the drain, right? The energy goes, right? Because again, it's your thinking, right? So you're what ifing, and it's your thinking and your thoughts are creating that energy, which then inspires you to take action, or a lot of times with what if downing, not take action, because the what if down then feeds into the fear, it feeds into the lack, it feeds into the limitation, it feeds into the scarcity, it feeds into the doubt. So that we can easily what if down or talk ourselves out of something that we really want to do, something that we really want to experience, something that would enliven us, something that would help us thrive, because we get into that cycle of pessimism that just what if downs, it takes us down, 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 right? So then we also have what she proposes, and I think this is a really good idea, is to what if up, right? Because when we what if upping creates possibilities. It creates enthusiasm, and it inspires action that is in alignment with possibility. So what if we find a brand new space that helps us thrive and grow? What if our music team is able to expand and grow, and we have like a horn section and a guitar player? What if? What if our youth program that is restarting on June 4th, what if that serves dozens of kids? What if that serves hundreds of kids? What if this partnership that we have with the LGBTQ resource Riverside County, the center of Riverside County, what if that allows us to expand and touch lives of high school students participating in GSAs and giving them a safe place to be? What if our new location is located near one of those high schools that allows kids to come after school and have a great, safe space for them to be who they authentically are? What if? How does that feel? Yeah? Feels wonderful, right? So you can feel the energy in your body shifting, that there's an excitement that's happening, there's an enthusiasm that's happening, that we could also what if down. Bleh. Why do that? Right? So we what if up to create the possibilities. And then once we're what if upping, then we can turn within and go, ooh, yeah, the wisdom in me, that internal space in me, my internal knowing, my gut sense, that still small voice is saying, wow, that is a really powerful idea to work with the LGBTQ resource center, that is a powerful idea. Think of the changes that we can make there. That is so rich for our abilities. Or really expanding out the youth programming using a Montessori type way of approaching this could really expand out and enrich the lives of our youth. Wow, let's follow that. Let's look at that. Let's begin to take action upon that to allow this to come to fruition and do so with this creative energy of enthusiasm. How's that feel? Right? So when we look at quantum physics, right, we have particles and we have waves. Subatomic particles are either particles or waves. They vacillate between particles and waves, back and forth, right? But what the difference is between a particle, which is matter, and a wave, which is potentiality, is focus. So when there is focus, then the quantum field collapses, the wave collapses into matter, into form, into what is. And when there's not focus, then it continues to ride the wave of infinite potentiality and infinite possibility. So when we focus our attention on the negative or the what if downing, what are we collapsing? The what if downing. Whereas if we focus our attention on the positive with enthusiasm, what if we're what if upping, then what are we collapsing into form? The positive, the vision that we want to experience or express, right? It's kind of like listening to the radio. And for some of you, it's like, yeah, you just push a button and it's already there. I get it. For others of us, remember having to tune the dial, right? Where you use the dial to tune into the radio station so that you're getting clarity. That's the focus piece, right? And then, when you have the focus, then you amplify, you turn up the volume with the feeling. So first there's the focus, and then, so that's the thought, the focus, we're narrowly focusing, and then we turn up the volume, we amplify by turning up the volume with our feelings. So it's the thought plus the feeling that amplifies what it is that we want to experience. So the universe responds to the thought, not necessarily the word, but to the thought and to the feeling combined. That's why we can say, I have $1 million, I have $1 million, I have $1 million. Yes, okay, I focused my thought on $1 million. But the feeling is not amplifying the $1 million, right? I have a relationship, I have a relationship, I have a relationship. Sure you do, right? Because you've got the volume turned way so far down that the universe is like, going, what? What did you say? Right? So you got to amplify it. You got to turn up the volume. So this week, beloveds, I invite you to choose to what if up. Choose to what if up. If you've got something, if you have an idea that you've been contemplating for a while, what if up it? If you have a challenge that you are facing in, Dinah, I know. If you have a challenge that you are facing, right, take the time and do this what if up process. So first, identify an idea, identify a challenge. Then, simply notice your propensity. Notice which way you tend to think. Do you tend to what if down? Or do you tend to what if up? And it's just a matter of noticing. And this is a key piece, right? Because this is a point where you are taking a moment to dive into choice, to become aware of what it is that you're choosing, and then choose to what if up. Then simply allow your wisdom self, allow your discernment to invite you to take action based on that. So it's a matter of shifting focus. We've done that before too, right? If you're looking down, you feel cruddy. You look here, it's neutral. But if you look up, if you shift your focus and you look up, then everything lightens and aligns. So it's a matter of shifting focus. It's a choosing to shift focus. What if? What if? I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. What if you were living your vision today? What would you be experiencing? What possibilities are there? What newness is there? What if you were living your best life right now? What if? What if? And so it is. So I invite our practitioners and our core council to please stand and surround the sanctuary. And these beloveds are in prayer for our community every single day, which means they are in prayer for you every single day, knowing the highest and best. What if upping you and our community? And I invite you to see them for prayer afterward in the prayer room. If you're here in the sanctuary, if you are at home, you can always send your prayer request to prayer@riversidecsl.org. So let's turn within. Recognizing here and now that there just is one power, one presence, one life, one infinite, eternal, expressing itself through, in, and as all of life, through, in, and as all of creation. It is the love, it is the life, it is the peace, it is the joy, it is the abundance, it is life fulfilling itself, expressing itself, forever creating, forever expanding, forever loving, because it is everywhere present. It is the one power that generates ideas and wisdom and possibilities. There is no limitation in this one. It is pure potentiality. And what I know is that I am one with this one, that I am inseparable from it, that my mind is one with the divine mind, the one mind that is. And so I know that my life is the life of the divine. My life is a life of pure potentiality, of infinite possibility. And so in this moment, I say yes to it. I say yes to my good. I say yes to my life. I say yes to my prosperity, my abundance, my joy, my happiness, the peace that I am, the presence that I am. For I know that I am one with this one. And as I know that this is true of me, I know that this is true of everyone gathered here this day. And I know that this is true of all of life, of all of creation. That the power and the possibility resides within each one. And so I speak my word here and now for our beloved community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, for each one here. I know that there is a willingness to say yes to the possibilities of what if. What if everything is happening for my highest good? What if all is in divine right order and divine right action? What if I am truly prosperous and truly abundant? What if there is peace in my life? What if there is wholeness in my life? What if I am perfectly healthy? What if I am whole, perfect, and complete, just as I am? What if I don't need to change anything? What if I don't have to be confined by other people's ideas of me? What if? What if? And so we steep and we enjoy and we enter into this realm of possibility, into this enthusiasm, which means to being enthused in spirit, in theos, in God, with faith, with hope. Hope itself is the thought of joyful expectancy. And faith is the feeling that accompanies this thought. Faith is the amplifier of this thought. And so I stand here in complete faith, knowing that each one is one, knowing that there is an infinite possibility, knowing that each one has the possibility and the power right now to live their best life right this minute. And I claim it to be so. I know it is a fact. I know it is true. And I simply give thanks for the beauty unfolding through each one and through our magnificent, glorious community. And I release this word into law, assured of its completion. I let it be, and so it is.